Is slowing down, stopping, or reversing bone loss even possible? Today I'll share a different perspective on osteoporosis. It is more than a pill to fix it disease. I'm going to share the information, the facts, but I'd like to introduce myself and share a little bit of information before I do. Why I specialize in bone health. My name is Debbie Robinson. I am a yoga therapist and a functional health coach, and I'm a bone health expert. I chose this field and this path because I had a collapsed hip joint when I was 50 years old. And when my hip joint was collapsed, I lost muscle, I lost bone density, I lost confidence, I stopped playing tennis, stopped traveling. And then what I noticed is it actually went into the layer of my mind. I started to feel worried, scared. I actually used to think that my hip bone might just break in half. And I wondered, where would I be if that happened? Who would be there to help me? Would I be on the ground? I would go into a place of fear, which I think a lot of women do when they get that diagnosis of osteoporosis. I felt like I couldn't rely on my bones at 50 years old. And I believed that I could potentially have 50 more years to live. So I actually had a total hip replacement when I was 51 years old. This image is me at my 1-year anniversary of my hip replacement, and I'm standing on my hip replacement leg. So what did I do? Well, after I had that hip replacement, I ran 5 functional labs on myself. I wanted to look deep inside my body at what is going on. I learned the lifestyle I needed to turn the ship around on bone loss and to work on doing what I needed to do for my bones. I took control and took charge of my bone health. I knew that the conventional approach of osteoporosis was all wrong, that it's not a one pill fix all disease. Pills do nothing for balance, for flexibility, for range of motion, for fall prevention. They don't do anything to improve your posture, your gut health, or all the other things that matter. So let's talk about, what is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis is not, let's talk about what osteoporosis is not. It is not like Alzheimer's, rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. It's not like those. Those are progressive degenerative diseases. They get worse over time, and most of them have no cure. Osteoporosis is like diabetes type 2, heart disease, obesity, inflammatory bowel disease. These diseases are lifestyle diseases. They are metabolic diseases. Diabetes and obesity, these are all metabolic in nature. And we see this, we know this is a known fact that people with type 2 diabetes are able to reverse it. People who are obese are able to reverse it. IBD can be reversed with gut healing attention on the diet, on supplements and stress management. It is possible to slow down, to stop, and to reverse a metabolic disease, because we see it happening all the time. It's reversible with lifestyle shifts. And if you Google search how to reverse a metabolic disease, you're going to see shift your diet, add exercise, manage stress. And this is, how do I know this? Because I have observed this in the ladies I've worked with over the years, reversing their bone loss, reversing their osteoporosis. Now, osteoporosis is in the negative 2.5 range on a DEXA scan. That's the diagnostic criteria for osteoporosis. So if you can reverse bone loss, and depending on how long and how effective you are at that, can you get yourself below 2.5? Heck yes, you can. And I see it happening all the time in the ladies that I work with. That would be reversing osteoporosis, reversing bone loss and osteoporosis. My DEXA scan was negative 2.4 when I was having all my hip issues. When I shifted my lifestyle, my next DEXA scan 2 years later was negative 1.9. 2.4 to 1.9, that is a significant shift when lifestyle is implemented in getting your bones to shift. I've been a functional health coach for over 10 years, and I've experienced many women reversing osteoporosis and lots reversing bone loss. You are not doomed. This is not an old person's disease if you have a diagnosis of osteoporosis. It is not out of your control, and that's how we feel when we get that diagnosis. And let's talk about, what are the conventional ideas? What are some of the myths around osteoporosis? Number one, that everyone needs to take calcium supplement. And when you go to your endocrinologist or your primary care or whoever it is that you're seeing for your bone health, they might in many cases recommend a medication because it's really the only tool in the toolbox that they have. And now they're recommending that everyone take calcium and vitamin D. Well, the problem is that not everybody needs a calcium supplement. And I find when all the labs that I run that about 40 to 50% of the women that I work with maybe need calcium, but the rest don't. It's a matter of intake versus excretion. How much are you bringing in through your diets and through supplements? And then what's happening inside your body, in your bones? Why are your bones dissolving and releasing the calcium into your system? And that is what we really need to focus on. The thing is that calcium is nature's Band-Aid. And so for many functions that take place inside the body, the bones dissolve the calcium. They neutralize the blood for acidity. One of the main ways the body is going to manage the pH of the blood is to dissolve the bones, dissolve the alkalizing minerals of the bones to manage that pH in your blood. Well, if you have excessive calcium outside of your bones, then you can have a buildup in your soft tissues like your heart, your blood vessels. 99% of your calcium is found in the bones and the teeth. You have to find out in the first place, do you actually need to take calcium? It's not that every single woman needs to take this. When you get a blood test and it looks at your blood marker for calcium, that tells you that on Monday at 10 a.m., this is where your blood calcium level was. Because the blood is always trying to maintain a precise pH, the minerals get pushed out into the soft tissue. So a blood serum marker is going to give you that day and that time. That's not the most ideal way to measure calcium levels. Number 2, before we go to number 2, does anybody want to put in the chat, are you on calcium and vitamin D? If so, what are your doses? I want to know how much vitamin D you're taking. I would also like to know calcium. And if you're taking calcium, do you know which form you should take or that you are taking? And even if you don't answer those questions, I want you to think about those things because those things matter. If you're taking calcium, the form matters. If you're taking vitamin D, the dose matters. And even if you need it in the first place. So those are things to think about. That's back to the myth that everybody needs calcium and vitamin D. Or everyone needs calcium. Many need vitamin D, but the calcium is the question. Let's talk about the second myth. Gentle exercise is all you need. If you Google safe searches for osteoporosis, this is what you're going to find. This is what you'll pull up. This is from Harvard. It talks about walking, stair climbing, stairs, playing tennis, dancing, all weight-bearing, feet hitting the ground movements, which are great. And then it gives this caveat, but only do what your fitness level allows. Well, as a yoga therapist, working with thousands of people over the years, what I've noticed is the fear that comes into you, especially if you get diagnosed of osteoporosis, you start to feel your fitness, what your fitness level allows. You start to modify, moderate, and cut down your activity level because of fear of fracture. And when you need to apply the right amount of forces. The next one that I found here talks same thing, same suggestions, but then it added here stair climbing and gardening. Well, this woman is gardening, but here's the thing. She's doing the biggest no-no when it comes to movement and osteoporosis, which is forward folding in the spine. Forward folding should happen in the hip joint, not in the spine. This woman has a rounded spine here. She's putting pressure on the front of her spine. That's going to contribute to spinal wedge fractures. Half of all the fractures in osteoporosis are in the spine. You may also see that twisting is not recommended. Now, twisting is actually the best and most effective way to create bone building stimulation to your vertebra. Yet you have to do it correctly and safely. And you have to be guided by somebody that knows what they're doing. There is good stress for our bones. We have to push and pull on our bones every single day. We have to develop a stronger lower body. And studies show that the stronger your lower body is, the less likely you will fall and fracture a bone. You have a lower fall risk. And also the bigger, stronger muscles lead to bigger, stronger, more dense bones. You have to demand more every single day, all day. For this woman to stand on that rock She was at the beach. The photographer said, stand and let's do a balance activity. She could have been on the lower log, but she chose the higher one because she has confidence in her body. So she's going to demand more. And because of that, she has more. She has balance to be able to do that. More skeletal muscle means stronger bones. We have to keep our muscles strong, which means we have to do something every day. So let me ask you, is your current workout right now focusing on the most important areas to focus on if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis for fracture prevention? So add that in the chat right now. What do you think are the most important areas? And I'd love for you to do it in descending order. What's the number 1 area to focus? What's the number 2 area? And what's the number 3 area to focus on when it comes to exercising specifically to support your bone health? So let's go to myth number 3. You can't fix your bone health with diet. Well, there are bone building foods. Food is medicine. And there are bone dissolving foods. If you have a diet higher in bone building foods, you're going to be contributing to bone health. And if you have a diet high in bone dissolving foods, you're going to be contributing to bone loss and dissolving bones. There are foods that trigger inflammation. Inflammation is a major root cause of bone loss. Food sensitivities are one of the biggest triggers of inflammation in the body. And this will lead to a major contributing factor when it comes to bone loss. So do you know what foods you may be consuming right now every single day that lead to bone loss? So think about that. Do you have an idea of the foods you're eating or the foods that you want to eat? What is leading to bone loss? Because there are foods to eat and there are foods to avoid when it comes to supporting your bones and many other factors of health. There are foods that will build your bones and there are foods that will trigger and stimulate bone dissolving. So here are some foods to look at. Sweet potatoes. Let's talk about sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are an excellent source of vitamin A, which is an important aspect of bone health. They have anti-inflammatory properties, and inflammation is a root cause of bone loss. They have plenty of gut-friendly fiber. Fiber will help with elimination from your body, so supporting detoxification. Toxicity is a root cause of bone loss. And if you eat the skin, if you buy organic and you scrub them, you eat the skin, you have even more fiber in your body. They're a good gut microbe food. They feed the good beneficial gut microbes that support bone health, the good gut microbes that support gut health, bone health and gut health. They have a soluble fiber and they help to lower cholesterol and they balance glucose. Blood sugar regulation is a really important aspect of bone health and of all metabolic processes inside. And osteoporosis is a metabolic disease. They also have insoluble fiber, which helps keep your bowels healthy and regular. Foods to avoid. Now, I chose this for a particular reason because some of the foods in this image are actually good for bones. Avocados, great for bones. Eggs, well, that could be controversial in the food sensitivity area. Yet when we're talking about assimilatable protein, eggs are a really great assimilatable protein for building tissues in our body. So let's talk about a few foods. And I want you to think about this one here. This is yogurt, and it's milk-based yogurt, cow-based yogurt. So how many of you are eating yogurt every day, or at least four times a week? And if you're eating this, are you eating it mostly for the calcium, or are you doing it for the probiotics? So put that in the chat. I want to know what your reasons behind doing this if you are consuming this. So let me tell you about yogurt. It's dairy, it's cow dairy. It's inflammatory. It contributes to inflammation. Inflammation, major root cause of bone loss. The countries with the most dairy consumption have the greatest amount of fractures. It also affects phosphorus, which is an important mineral when it comes to bone health. So dairy is not a good food group for bone health. Coffee. This is a hard one. This is one that a lot of people have a hard time even thinking of parting with. Now, coffee has some good things. It's got a lot of antioxidants. But when it comes to your bones, there's two things coffee has that's terrible for bone health. It's acidic. Acidity is a root cause of bone loss, and it's dehydrating. Dehydrated bones will fracture more easily. Dehydrated muscles will snap and fray like beef jerky would if you were to bend it. So if you slip, trip, stumble, or fall, you want real pliable muscles. Coffee, not good for bones. Parfait. Now, berries are good for bones. Granola most often is made with oats, and oats can be a gluten-free grain. However, quite often they're not, and there may be other grains that are in there. And gluten is terrible for bones. If I was going to tell you one food to please give up for your bones, for your gut, and for your thyroid, it would be gluten. It causes leaky gut. It slows down elimination. It slows down peristalsis in the gut lining, and it affects secretion of fat metabolizing bile from your gallbladder. So it inhibits or affects nutrient absorption from fat soluble vitamins. So it's research shows that gluten increases intestinal permeability, leading to something called leaky gut. So let's talk about supplements. Supplements are a one-size-fits-all solution. Just take a multivitamin. It has everything in it you need. We talked about calcium, and if you have too much calcium, calcium is going to be out. If it's outside of your bones, it's going to be around your heart and your soft blood vessels. So this is not something you want. Now, what about magnesium and vitamin K? So there are 4 musketeers of bone health: calcium, magnesium, vitamin K, vitamin D, 4 main minerals and vitamins. Vitamin D, most of us need. And the problem with vitamin D is quite often people are taking really high levels of vitamin D. And if you take excessive amounts of vitamin D, then you're going to deplete your magnesium. So magnesium and vitamin K are really important. Magnesium puts calcium into the solution so it can be absorbed into the body. Vitamin D helps calcium get absorbed. Magnesium helps to put it into solution, and vitamin K delivers the calcium to your bones. So these 4 work pretty synergistically when it comes to bone health. There's studies that show that vitamin K actually has the ability to decrease fractures because it stimulates bone growth and it slows down bone dissolving. So really important vitamin for us to get in our diet and in supplement. Now, magnesium, putting calcium into the bones, putting it into solution, part of the 4 musketeers, really important. But the thing is, what form are you taking if you're taking magnesium, and how much are you taking? And what lifestyle practices do you have that may be depleting magnesium, which means you need even more than the RDA? So what form are you taking? If you want to write that in the chat here, what form are you taking? Most supplements have magnesium citrate because it's a smaller molecule and easier to put in pills. Doesn't take up so much space. Magnesium citrate is going to draw water into your bowels. It will support elimination in the body, and it can contribute to diarrhea, make things go too quickly, which is then going to affect nutrient absorption. So it's important to know what form you're taking. Magnesium glycinate would be the best form to take. So that's what I wanted to say about magnesium. And one more thing, if you're taking zinc and calcium, which a lot of women are, and especially if you don't need it, then it's even more negative in its effects. This can reduce magnesium's absorption, and so can high levels of vitamin D. So the low plasma vitamin K is associated with the risk of hip fracture. You need to take the right amount. And here's the thing about vitamin K. The form that it comes in when it's in food is mostly an animal. It's mostly in organs, in meats, in fish and eggs. And many women eat a very plant-rich or even a plant-based diet. So they're not necessarily going to get the vitamin K in their diet, which means then that we would need to supplement. The important thing about minerals and vitamins is this. It's not about taking everything and bringing in everything but the kitchen sink. It's about the balance, because they all have an effect. They're synergistic and antagonistic to each other. So you may be canceling out with one with the other. And that's why it's important that you take a more customized approach when it comes to your supplements and don't just take a multivitamin. I have worked with women for years running functional labs, putting together supplement protocols. I have yet to find one formula that in itself I can recommend, because they have things in them that I don't like. They have the wrong form of magnesium that's going to contribute to diarrhea and not be absorbed effectively. They have strontium in them. Strontium is actually a heavier mineral than calcium, and it displaces calcium in the bones. So really important that we make sure that what we're taking is the right thing. But here's the bigger aspect of supplements that I find. Your liver and kidneys have to process everything that comes into your body. So when you are taking excessive amounts of supplements, things you don't need, you're giving your liver extra work to do. And liver disease is one of the secondary causes of osteoporosis. And when I run functional labs, I see a lot of liver issues, liver enzyme issues in blood, and then liver issues in some of the functional labs that I run. It's important to support your liver. Now, how would you know if maybe you have some liver issues? Because I find this often in women with osteoporosis and osteopenia. If you take supplements and you feel nauseous after you take supplements, that can be a sign. Fatigue, generally feeling not well, headaches, that can be hormone related, and the liver can play aspect there. The liver metabolizes our hormones, so we need to have this really good functioning liver. And you also can have disrupted sleep. That could be a sign of liver damage. And it's been my experience that many of the women do have issues with their liver, and that's something that I start supporting usually right away when in the programs that I offer. So excessive supplementation burdens your body systems that you need to support your bones. It's dangerous to take too many supplements. It's costly. You are literally throwing your money down the toilet. You're peeing and pooping out the excess down the toilet. So let's talk about the fifth and the biggest one for me, is that osteoporosis only gets worse. This is why you need to take the pill. It's going to get worse. Take that pill, or take the medication. Let's separate the facts from the myths when it comes to this, because it is disempowering and scary if that's the message that's being shared. Osteoporosis is a lifestyle disease. It's a metabolic disease. It is reversible. It is not a progressive degenerative disease. Now, osteoporosis being reversible, I'm going to say bone loss is reversible. Osteoporosis is reversible if you're close to the number that indicates osteopenia and osteoporosis. And who knows how far down the number line you can go if you completely adopt a stronger bones lifestyle. You can shift your bone loss with the right lifestyle. So ask yourself, why do you have osteoporosis? Think about the root causes. Think about some of the things that are happening in your life. It may be that you had something happen in your life that contributed. It may be there could be issues when you were younger. There could have been eating disorders, or maybe a disease like cancer. There are some disease states that contribute to bone loss, or maybe medications that you took for something that you were on that you were managing. But what I'd like to share with you is the intricate link and the major importance of how strongly linked your gut health is to your bone health. You have to digest and absorb your nutrients. We need minerals and vitamins. There's two things that your bones need to get strong. There's two things you have to do. At the very top of this, there's two things. One of them, you have to have the exercise or mechanical stimulation, and the other thing is you have to have the protein, vitamins, and minerals. Those are the two things you need to build good, strong, quality bones, because strong bones and good quality bones are fracture resistant or fracture proof. It's not about how dense your bones are, it's how tough are your bones. You want to get these nutrients in the foods that you eat and the supplements you take, yet they have to go from mouth to bone, and they have to go through the gut to get there. Therefore, you have to have a healthy, optimized gut in order for this to happen. You are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. Emerging research is highlighting the significant link between gut health and bone health. They call it the gut-bone axis. And it's really an unknown reality out there with physicians. I interview physicians all the time on my podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. And I speak to some of them about this, and it's not really an area that they've focused on yet. Not yet, but I'm going to make sure that that shifts. There are 7 root causes of bone loss: inflammation, stress, hormone imbalance, mineral imbalance, acidity, toxicity, and a sedentary lifestyle, or not demanding enough from your bones. And they're all linked to gut health. The gut-bone axis. Inflammation, if food sensitivities contribute to inflammation, if you have inflammatory dysbiosis, an imbalance of gut microbes, it's going to be contributing to inflammation. And it's going to slow down the bone building and increase the bone dissolving. Stress, contributor of many diseases, but this will actually alter your calcium balance, and it increases bone dissolving. So really important that we don't want to trigger that inflammation. Hormone imbalances, the gut plays a major role in metabolizing your hormones like estrogen and testosterone, which we need because they play a really critical role in bone health. Mineral imbalances, you need to digest, you need to absorb, and you need to assimilate your nutrients in order to be having what we need in our bodies to build bones. Acidity. Digestion plays a role in acidity. The foods you eat play a role in acidity, whether you digest or not, whether the food comes out of your stomach in the proper pH into your small intestines, where it then gets absorbed. So gut health playing an integral role here in many of these root causes. Toxicity, this is where toxins can leak into the system, into the body, contributing to inflammation. So we need to make sure that we're managing our toxicity. And that happens by what we bring into our body, but then also, do we have our gut intact, our gut lining intact, our fortress intact? We don't have leaky gut, because if our fortress is intact, then we will keep the toxins in the system, in the gut, and then poop them out. Sedentary lifestyle. Now you might say, well, wait, what does the gut have to do with this? If you have poor digestion and you're not able to have the right nutrients you need for energy production in your body, you may not even have the desire to get up and to move your body the way that we need to create the stimulation for stronger bones. Or it may be affecting your mood and maybe making you feel down. So you could get an energy aspect, but you can also get a mental emotional effect here as well when it comes to the gut. So the groundbreaking news is that gut health is directly linked to bone health. We had an old-fashioned approach to looking at bone health, we still do. I have conversations with women all the time in my sessions where they say, well, my doctor wants to put me on this. And I told them, give me 3 months, give me this. I don't want to do it. They're going to make me do it. So really an outdated approach. Do you know that a DEXA scan is 40-year-old technology? That's what we're using. We're using 40-year-old technology to look at our bones today to make this determining factor. So if you were going to go on a car ride that's 5 hours from your house, would you want to take a 40-year-old car there, or would you want to take a brand new car? Medication is not the answer. I'm not saying that it doesn't play a role for some ladies at some point, but what I am saying, it is not the answer, because it's not a one pill fix all disease. It's not going to make your body absorb nutrients better. And in fact, it actually makes your body, it's the opposite, it affects our gut negatively. We have a disease management system. We are managing the disease for 6 months, for 2 years. Now you need to go on this one for 18 months and this one for this long and this one. We do not have a health building system. Our conventional medical approach is disease management and not health building. We have a broken system. It's the only tool in the toolbox. It's not your physician's fault. It's in our training in medical schools, and who is funding medical schools when it comes to training. That's something to consider as well. So it's a broken system, only tool in the toolbox, and now of course, the recommendation of vitamin D and calcium. My podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle, I interview functional medicine-based physicians and many other people as well, not just physicians, but a lot of physicians. I like to interview functional-minded physicians. And we have these conversations all the time. They agree that it's a broken system, that it's wrong, that we're doing it the wrong way, that it's not, here's the pill. We need other things to do. So it is my mission to do just that, to raise the awareness on what is the lifestyle approach when it comes to your bone health. Because you are in control of the strength and the quality of your bones. You can work on making them fracture resistant or fracture proof. That's what you have control over. The quality, the strength, and I'm going to say yes, the density as well. You have to heal your gut and eliminate the root causes of bone loss in the first place. That's how you do it. That's the answer. How do I do this? You heal your gut so you digest, absorb, and assimilate, and you remove your root causes. You have to reverse the factors of the disease in the first place. Take the U-turn on bone loss. Start going the other direction. You have to support your digestion, remove triggers of inflammation, rebalance your gut microbes. Make sure you have the right environment in your gut, and even understand what that means. What does it mean, right environment? You have to make sure that you have enough good beneficial bacteria they're called the gatekeepers of the gut, to maintain the integrity of your gut lining, for your fortress between the outside world and the inside world. Make sure that everything moves through the system as it should, and that you are stimulating bone building cells and not bone dissolving cells. I know this is the answer because the women I work with who are reversing their bone loss, this is how they're doing it. So I want to share with you the program that I've created for you, that I have distilled out of the years of working with women in this space that wanted to learn, what do I do? How do I take control? Over 10 years I've worked with women with osteoporosis. And it is from those 10 years of running functional labs that I realized this is the lifestyle that I teach every single woman that I work with that wants to be in control of her bone health. These are the steps. This is what we need to learn. These are the action steps we need to take. And I have created this simple plan for you to follow. It's a simple plan. It is foundational. It's the base of where we begin to start healing our gut, start learning the lifestyle approach to what can you do, how can you be in control, and it's actionable. You will learn the lifestyle to build fracture-proof bones, to build better quality, more dense bones. So let me tell you about these program features. It is delivered over a 90-day period. And I meet with you every other week because I think it's really important with any program you choose that you have a live person there, not just a live person, that you have a bone health expert there. I know the programs that are out there. I know what is being offered. You have to have somebody there to answer your questions. Doing the DIY programs where you're just doing online studying, you can't get your questions asked on the spot. So this program that I created, I wanted to be in it, be a part of it, to be there with you, to answer your questions, to help guide you. And if I don't have the answer, I have quite a bit of answers, but of course I don't know everything. None of us knows everything. And it's not that I don't know a lot, because I do know a lot, but we don't know everything, right? We don't follow the vitamin into our body to see. When it comes to the oxalate phytate question, we don't follow that food in to see if your body is able to bind those oxalates. We don't know that, and not everybody's body is the same. So when I say I don't know, it's because we don't know, and I will research whatever I need. So I deliver this live over 90 days, and I'm going to share with you the exact methods that I have used with women to help them build strength, flexibility, range of motion, to develop confidence, to feel in control, be in control. Probably my most favorite thing I've observed is when women know that they do have control. This program gives you accountability. You're in community with other women just like you. And I say women because 80% of those with osteoporosis are female, and it's mostly females that are proactive in this way. Men don't lose testosterone until they're 70, so it's really mostly females. I share tons of resources, links to lots of resources for you. And my goal is for you to have real change. I want you to be in control, be in charge, to do what you can, to learn about the gut. What do you need to know about the gut, about your gut, and that role it plays? And this is where you're going to learn about this from someone who's ran hundreds, if not thousands of labs on gut health and created the program just for this very reason. I put it together in this systematic approach The first module, we start learning about our gut, removing triggers of inflammation, starting to focus on those root causes and eliminating root causes. Learning about what supplements or what supplements do you need and what are some other enhancements, because it's not all about supplements and spending money on supplements. It's also, how can I support my minerals and vitamins through foods? How can I support digestion without it being supplement based? But what are the lifestyle habits? What's the lifestyle aspects to all of this? Then I talk about the gut microbes, because that's important. And unless you study with somebody or study yourself the gut, you're not going to understand the microbes and how we support the good guys. It's not about taking a probiotic, because which probiotic do you need? And in many cases, you can't take a probiotic that's going to feed the inflammation or feed the inflammatory dysbiosis, which I see all the time in ladies with osteopenia and osteoporosis. Then we talk about detoxification, supporting your liver, supporting your kidneys, because we need to be supporting these aspects, not just for now. My goal is to not give you a fish. My goal is to teach you how to fish. This program is a lifestyle program. This is not take this and you're done. This is take this and learn how to be in control of your bones for the rest of your life. Then we go into the yoga therapy. I teach you safe movements for osteoporosis. What should you do? What shouldn't you do? And I share videos, 10-minute practices, 3-minute practices, videos that you can do at home every day or a few days a week that are going to focus on the most important areas when it comes to bone health. Then there is the stress management piece, because stress is like filling up the bathtub with the plug out. And if you fill up the bathtub and your plug is out, if you have stress all over the place in your body, you're not going to be supporting your bones. That's the pathway that we do in this program. So don't just take my word from it. Let me share a couple of what some of my previous attendees have shared with me. So this one woman that I worked with, 70 years old, diagnosed with osteoporosis. Doctor said, here's your bisphosphonate. She had irritable bowel disease, lots of gut issues, like symptoms. Took for 2 months the bisphosphonates, horrible sensations, lots of symptoms, had to sit up in bed. She couldn't stand it. She said, no way. And she found me. And I ran on her 4 functional foundational labs. And over the time, I still am working with this woman a few years later. So at her 2-year checkup, she went back to the doctor, and she was, I want to say, negative 2.7. So just in that osteoporosis range. She went to her doctor 2 years later. She reversed her osteoporosis. She was at 2.4. And her doctor said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. This other woman has been on this journey for 20 years looking at bone health. She told me, Debbie, I've been out there for 20 years. I've done so many things. She's gone to lots of different people, tried some programs, especially some of these DIY programs where there wasn't a bone health expert or someone to talk to. And even in some cases, she did have that. Still, she never looked at her gut. She didn't. It's the last missing link. It's what I see with everybody that I start working with. She didn't pay attention to her gut health. She didn't pay attention to digestion, absorption, assimilation, and the balance in her gut. She took the lifestyle approach to a T. She followed everything to a T, the diet, the stress management, the supplements, everything to a T. And in 2 months, she went to her doctor to get her blood levels looked at again. And her doctor said, I have not seen this type of shift in someone's blood markers in 2 months, which I thought was pretty amazing. And proof in the pudding that somebody who actually really grabs the bull by the horns and brings as many lifestyle habits into their system as possible, into their life as possible, can have a tremendous effect quickly. This last person sent me this email saying, I think you might want to hear this. I said, heck yes, I do. She got her, this is 8 months into her program, and it was, the time for her 2-year checkup for her DEXA. She went from 2.5 to 2.3. Do you know what that means? That means she no longer has osteoporosis. So she does not have a diagnosis on her chart of osteoporosis with a negative 2.3 reading. That is what matters. And I'm going to also add with this person, she had a lot of mental, emotional stuff, a lot of anxiety and a lot of stuff. And when you have impaired gut health, that's going to affect your mental, emotional state as well. And when I would meet with her every few months, I was so happy to see her demeanor and how she showed up in that sense. So Yes, I'm so happy you reversed your bone loss. And wow, am I so happy you are happy and you feel confident and you're living an active, fulfilled, happy life. That matters to me. So with this program, I want to make this a no-brainer for you, because if you want to be in control and in charge, you've got to look at your gut and you've got to learn the lifestyle. And this program, Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones, I have all of that in there for you. And I want to make it as easy as possible and as appealing as possible. So I put bonuses in there. You get a private call with me when you sign up for the program. I want to meet you. I want to know about your story, your journey, what your biggest hurdles are, what you're dealing with, because then I can tailor my live sessions to whoever is in our group during that group session. You get a nutrition guide, 100-page guide that talks about bone health and also has 50 delicious recipes. I have gone to professional cooking school. I cook a lot. So my recipes are not just here, this is good for bones, but here, this is good for your gut and your bones, because all of that matters. And then I share videos, yoga postures, yoga practices, breath work, meditation videos. So this program, with all the features that I've included in this, I look at these when they're all in an individual. The 6 live Zoom calls you get, that's an hour and a half with me live. Ask me what you want. You get emails that give you information. You get your free call with me so I can hear about your story. You get a knowledge vault of resources, alternative things to eat when you can't do dairy anymore, you can't do gluten anymore for your bones and for your gut. Menus, food guides, shopping lists for the supermarket, lots of recipes, digital cookbooks, and discounts. You get discounts on supplements if you choose. There's a store that I have in there if you want to buy supplements, not my store, but a store that I link out to, and I'll give you discounts on supplements. You get self-assessments that you can use for the rest of your life every 3 months. So you start to check on your symptoms that will show you what's going on with your gut health, your microbial balance, and start to nip things in the bud early when things start to go in a different way. There should be a link to this program in the chat. My team here is putting in links along the way so that if you want, you can go and you could purchase it right now and be in my next group, or you can purchase it in the next time we put it up there, but always it'll be in there so you can go back. There's breathwork videos and meditation videos. And so if we looked at the whole totality, it would be $27.27 would be the price. But that's not what you're going to pay. If you sign up today, it's $497. $497 for 4 months. It's 3 months of all the lives. And you, in the Facebook group, we keep that open for an extra month. So you get to be in there for the extra month. And lots of questions are asked in there, shared in there, recipes are in there, speak with other women, hear about other women's journeys. That's been something that's been really powerful in my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones courses, is when women see themselves in others. And I like that. So again, the link should be there in the chat if you'd like that. $497. $497 for 4 months. That is barely over $100 a month. And the 6 live Q&A calls, a lot of that time is for question and answers. I do share the information I want when it comes to healing your gut and all the other things, but I want to be there and be available for you to ask me whatever you need to ask me. If you have osteoporosis and even osteopenia, you cannot afford to do nothing, especially if you have osteoporosis. Osteoporosis gets worse every year, 1%, 1 to 3% every year if you do nothing. And when I say do nothing, do you know what you need to do? This is not about taking this supplement, that supplement, that supplement. What is the state of your gut? Are you digesting your nutrients? Are you absorbing your nutrients? You're not going to know that unless you take my program, Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones, or you run functional labs. So even without running functional labs, you'll be able to do a lot of work with me. You have to turn the ship around in your bone loss. So imagine if you turned the ship around in your bone loss and you didn't have to worry about fracturing a bone, about what happens if I play with my grandkids and I give them a piggyback ride, will I break something? What about playing pickleball with your girlfriends? You could go back to playing pickleball and not think, oh wow, what if I fall? You could do things yourself and not ask people, can you climb up that ladder and get something because you're worried you might fall? You don't have to feel like you're walking on eggshells anymore. And biggest thing of all, You don't worry about breaking your hip when you know that you're working on developing better quality, stronger, more dense bones. So I want you to imagine for a second that you have fracture-proof bones for life. Right now, think about that. If you knew that at this moment your bones are strong, dense, good quality, tough, fracture-proof, how would that feel? Because that is what you get when you start to heal your gut, when you feel in control, when you have the information, when you have the education, when you get the action steps, when you get the support you need, the accountability from me in that group, from others in that group, and you have the resources at your hands to heal your gut, to support your digestion, and to do whatever you can to be in control of your body and your bones as you age. So what are the action steps? The action steps are sign up. You can't afford to not learn all that you can, to do all that you can. Unless you want to go to the doctor and have him say, here's the pill, and you say, okay, thank you. But if your goal is natural approaches to bone health and you want to learn what you can do, then sign up for Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones. Learn how to heal your gut. Learn what you need to eat, not eat, do, not do, and all of those things to support your bones. Prepare how to build, or to prepare to learn how to build stronger bones. And then get ready to be in control, to be in charge. That is what I want for you. That is what I see in the women that I've worked with over the years. That is what I know to be possible. And that is why I do what I do, because I know it is possible. And I want you to have that strong, fracture-proof bones for the rest of your life. So I want to stop my slideshow. I want to open up the chat so that I can get your questions. And my team should have been and probably was answering some of the questions. I see that there are a lot of questions. I just want to do some of the ones in the beginning. Bone density versus bone strength. Bone strength. Yes, that's what we want. We want to work on bone strength and bone quality. And how do you do that? You have to digest and absorb your nutrients. Healthy gut, super important. Safe movements, not safe. I think I covered that in the slideshow. You want to not bend your spine, but rather bend at your hips. I think yoga is the most effective way to build stronger bones, and mostly because it works on flexibility, fall prevention, range of motion, and strength in the muscles. The core, super important to work on your core. Balance, very important to work on balance for fall prevention, because bones don't break because they're fragile. They break because we fall and we pull on them too hard, and that's what happens. So spine, hips, and wrists. The question I asked were the three important areas. Spine is where 50% of the fractures are. So I'm going to say the spine is really important, but I wonder if the hip is more important, because a hip fracture, 25% do not live past a fracture. And so 25% die from the fall, 25% become immobile or need others' assistance for a year, and then usually within a year pass, so 50%. So I want to say the hip is a super important one. Pilates, OsteoStrong's treadmill. Pilates is really good. I'm interviewing someone on my podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. If you haven't gone to my podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle, look at my podcast on all of the podcast channels. I've interviewed some pretty amazing people, lots of doctors, and I asked point blank, is bone loss reversible? Is osteoporosis reversible? And they are MDs. And what is the answer? Yes, yes, yes. And hopefully today you learned that, because it's a metabolic disease. All right, questions. What are the bad foods? Gluten, gluten, gluten. Did I mention gluten and dairy? Not good. Let me see. Okay, so I would like, if anybody wants to come forth and unmute yourself and ask a question, raise your hand and I'll have you come forth and ask. Plant-based yogurt, yes, better option than milk-based. But then why are you eating it? And are there enough probiotics in there? Because some of the studies done on yogurts, they're not really loaded with a lot. Oats, yes. Oats I do think are good for bone health. Okay, so I'm going to view, let me see. I want you to You want to share your video, Mary Therese? So I'm going to ask you to unmute. And then let me give you that ability to unmute. Okay. I'm going to ask you to unmute. And then if you want to share your video with us. Okay. Hi. Mary?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. I guess I'm not sure. I might have like more than one question. I can't get my, oh, there we go. I can't get my video to I'd show my video, but I can't get it to do it. My understanding is, because I've listened to so many of your podcasts, I just sent away all my functional testing and all that. I'm waiting for my, is it correct that the medications may increase the bone density scores, but not really be increasing your bone health and strength and quality?
Yes.
So that, I mean, because I'm being pushed really hard by not just my doctors, but everyone in my life, that now I just don't talk about it anymore. But, and then second is yoga, because I do it every day now, is yoga enough? Or do we need to add like strength training and weights and that kind of thing?
Okay, first question about medications. Medications, especially bisphosphonates, stop bone dissolving. Well, your bones need to dissolve the dirty old bone that needs to be degenerated, because if you don't, and you don't break down that old degenerative bone, and then you build new bone on top of a shaky foundation. And if you build your house on sand, it's not good. So that's what I would say, one of the things about medications. There's also tremendous side effects and many other things that are happening. The other thing is that the other question you asked is yoga enough? Yes, it is, if you do it correctly. You need to hold the postures deeply. You need to be in flexion, pull on your bones effectively. So it's not just to go to a yoga class, it's to do a yoga class that is specifically targeting bone health, holding your postures for the right amount of time, and maintaining the perfect posture or right posture in a pose. So hopefully I asked that. It looks like you might have popped off. Vitamin K, yes, you should be taking vitamin K. Glycinate is the best form. Magnesium, yeah. How can you tell if you have problems with your liver? There's tests for that. So there's functional labs that you can test to see what is the state of your liver. Yeah, and I know that some people are putting here some of their supplements. I don't like to say anything specifically about certain supplement brands. I will say certain things about supplement ingredients, but not necessarily brands. When I work with women privately and I run functional labs, I actually customize supplements because it is that intricate balance that matters. And I find that most multivitamins or most supplements have the wrong forms and not enough of many of the things that we need. Yeah, and if you've had trouble with your digestion, if you are someone that has trouble with your digestion, without a doubt, healthy gut, healthy bones, you will learn so much about how to start healing your gut, because an unhealthy gut will lead to many factors, many things. So Barbara, if you'd like to, you can unmute yourself if you have a question. Thank you. I wanted to say, just really fast to Janine, this is so thorough. Thank you, Janine, because I think you say Janine. I think that's how you say that. But I really thank you. I'm not here to BS any of you. My goal is to be out there to be the cheerleader for bone health and to empower you and give you the tools you need to take care of your bone health. That is why I am doing this. So I just want to say thank you, Janine. And so much to think about. Yes, it's a lot to think about. So go ahead. Sorry. Who wanted to? Yeah.
Just wondered, you talk about probiotics, but there is also prebiotics. And how necessary is it to take both?
It's very necessary, and prebiotics are in foods. And how do you know what foods to take? Well, in my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program, this is the kind of stuff I share. Food lists. Here's prebiotic-rich foods. Let's support. Prebiotics are the food for the good gut microbes, the gatekeepers of your gut that maintain your gut health. So yes, you need prebiotics, but I wouldn't say go buy a prebiotic. I'd say eat these foods that are rich in prebiotics and support yourself that way. Probiotics, which strain do you need? Well, that depends what's going on in your gut. And how would you know? Really, the only way you truly will know is to run a stool lab. and to interpret that lab and have somebody that does that run it, not just go out and get one done, but rather know how to interpret that. That's how you truly know. But if you didn't run labs, if that was something you couldn't do, then you can actually do some kind, there's tests, there's symptoms and things that you can look for that will determine what would be like kind of a standard probiotic.
Right.
And
Thank
yes,
you very much.
probiotics support bone health.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, there's a place you can register. There's a link there if you want to register. My next course, I didn't even say the dates. The dates for my next Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones, the lives start on May 19th. They're on Tuesday nights Pacific Standard Time. They are an hour and a half long with shared information of what we need to learn. And then there's also the Q&A time. So it starts on March 19th and it goes through June.
March.
Yeah. So it goes through June. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's a link there to sign up. If you go to the link that is being put up by my team members, you'll actually go to the page where you'll see the information, the link to pay $4.97 and the information that's there as well.
And the Pacific Standard Time is the same as
Pacific Standard, yes.
in New Zealand.
Okay, yeah, because I have somebody from New Zealand in my group right now. There's somebody from New Zealand in my group, yes. So she's able to meet us. So the dates of the live sessions are put here in the chat. Those are the dates of the live sessions. If you cannot attend, everything is recorded and shared with you. So you'll have access to this. So you'll be able to go in and see this. And a lot of times that's really what has happened for most women. As soon as you sign up, you get a link to set up your private call with me. So I get to meet you and learn about your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sarah, thank you so much for saying that. All right, Lorna, well, that would be great to have you in one of the programs. Not sure when the next one will be. So if it is something that's interests you, it would be good to get in on this one. Great, Janine. So great to have you do that. I'm glad you joined. Is decaf coffee okay? Should you take collagen? Oh, there's a lot of stuff out there about collagen. So instead of saying, instead of me saying, yes, you should take collagen or no, you shouldn't, I'll share information with you that talks about collagen. So I'll share that. Decaf coffee. Wait, so who's the person that's unmuted right now? Is that Mary?
I am, yes. Gosh, I've been listening. I kind of almost forgot my question. I'm so sorry. So if you've been on Fosamax, I've been on it for a couple years, 2.5 years, and my scores have stayed the same. But would I have to go off that to start this program? I would worry things would get worse. I don't know.
I will never tell you to go off of a medication. I will give you, I will share all the tools to empower you, to give you the lifestyle aspects of what you could do to support your bones. Would you at one point feel confident enough to go off your medication? I would hope so. That would be my goal.
If I could get my scores up, but they're like down to 3 and 3.5, so they're not in the 2 range, is that something that's reversible?
Yes, it is. It's reversible at any place. I studied yoga therapy for osteoporosis with Dr. Fishman. He had a lady in her negative 5.3. He did not use medications. He's been a physician for 50 years. He's seen 10,000 women. He did not use medication. He used a lifestyle approach and yoga and got her to go down into the 4s, into the 3s. So yes.
So could you stay on the medication while you do the program, and then if things improve, go off?
Yeah, I would never tell you to go off. I want you to make that choice. I want to teach you all that you need to do to support your bones in every way that you can. And then at some point, if you feel comfortable enough, and if that's a choice you want to make, then that would be a choice you would make on your own.
And where's the link to sign up? I didn't see that.
It should be there in the chat. If it's not, it'll be there now. It's there. Yeah, it's at the bottom if you scroll down. Decaf coffee, okay. Yeah, and I also share alternatives to coffee. So my goal, I don't just say don't do this, don't do coffee, don't do gluten, because it's hard and nobody wants to hear don't do this, don't do that. I say don't do these things. This is why you shouldn't. Let me show you the information, the evidence, the research why you shouldn't. And here's something else to try if your goal is to support your bones and support your health and healthy aging. Yeah, and the collagen, that's, I like to just share resources on that. I don't take collagen. So,
You don't.
yeah. And Denise, your friend Molly, I remember her. Yeah, I have a lot of women are very happy with what they learn in my program. It's very comprehensive, and I leave no stone unturned. And if I do, and you point it out to me, I'm going to find that stone and either learn, or if I know it already, share it with you. I want you to have as much information as possible. Any more questions? Yes, omeprazole affects bones, PPIs slow down, they slow down digestion. So taking a PPI is it's slowing down your digestion. The problem is, why do you have the symptoms in the first place? Get to the root causes of why you have the symptoms so you can stop the issue and not need the medication to manage your gut issues. And if you're someone that has gut issues, you are a prime candidate for learning what you will learn in my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program, because the symptoms, when you're symptomatic, I love meeting women who are symptomatic because I know I'm going to help them right off the bat and hopefully go off your medication. So I would love it if you didn't take medications. The goal would be to not take medication. That would be my goal for you. I hope it's your goal for yourself as well. And if it is your goal, yeah.
Hi, girl.
Oh, so whoever is not muted, can you mute yourself, please? Because I'm not gonna be able to see who is muted. Yes, Molly did labs. So I do labs. My Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program for $497 is not including labs. If you want to include labs in a program and do labs, you would then meet with me and have a discovery call to see what's appropriate for you. And in this, oh, yeah, I wish that when somebody was unmuted, I could actually see them.
Yeah. Oh, she smelled this. Nina, you gotta let me get this in.
Sherry, can you mute yourself, please? I'm not able to mute you. Actually, maybe I could do this. Okay, yeah, there I am. All right. Let me go back to the chat. More questions. The labs that I run when I do the Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones with labs is I run a stool test. I look deep at gut function. I look at toxic markers. I look at digestion markers, gut immune markers, bacterial, parasite, and yeast overgrowth. I look at good gut microbes. Are there enough or are there too many? I look for inflammation in the gut. There's a tremendous amount of information that you can get when you do a stool lab. And I also run a hair mineral lab to be more custom in my approach to supplementation when it comes to whoever I'm working with. So there is the option to run labs. Then setting up a discovery call and talking to me about that would be great. The weighted vests. I don't like weighted vests. Why? Because most people are not in a perfect aligned position. And if you have any rounding in your spine, any collapsing of your vertebra, and now you put even more pressure in the front of your spine, you're going to contribute even quicker to wedge fractures. So I am not a proponent of weighted vests. I am a proponent of learning about your posture and strengthening your postural muscles. And then if you did have really great posture and a lot of awareness, maybe then you could add a weighted vest. But it's not really, in my mind, there's many other things that we could do. Vibrating machines. Yeah, I know. Those are the things that are pretty big right now, the vibrating machines. Here's what I'm going to say. The super, super strong vibration, I don't think is great for many aspects of us. But I'm not sure what my comments are yet about vibration plates. I think some of them have some benefit, but I'm not really sure. I totally think HRT is great for osteoporosis, yet you have to be the right person. You have to make sure that it's right for you, and you'd have to go to someone that recommends hormones. I don't do that. I recommend out for hormones, but yes, I love them. And then OsteoStrong. I have some women, more women than not. More women than not haven't had a change in their strength or bone density. I did go to it. Yeah. I don't want to say too many negative things about certain things that are out there, but do I think going somewhere one day a week for 10 minutes is enough for your bones? No, I do not think so. So that's my answer to that. Eliminating gluten is not hard. It is not hard because you'll learn what are the other things you eat. But eliminating gluten is not hard when you realize that gluten contributes to leaky gut, it contributes to thyroid, hypothyroid, and it contributes to bone loss. And so you have to learn, how do you shift? And in 2014, when I first started this, that's what I learned to do. I learned how to shift that. And now it's not so hard. There's a lot of things out there. And here's what I would say: crackers, cookies, and things like that are really not great foods for any part of our health, let alone our bones. So great, Sarah. I'm so glad that you joined the program. I cannot wait to speak with you on your private call with me and learn about your bone health. It's really it's important for me that you feel that you are treating yourself to learning and to taking control of your bone health. So I look forward to meeting you, Sarah. Can reflux be helped with diet? Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, yes, and yes. And that is the best way to help with reflux, with heartburn, with digestive issues, is to realize that your diet plays a major role in this, and other factors as well. And so healthy gut, healthy bones, we talk about stress and a lot of other things as well. Yeah, I'd love for you to get off of it as well. And I'd love to help you do that. The link is down there. It's right there. You can see the link. Almond milk. Well, it depends which almond milk. So are there 2 ingredients, almonds and water? Yes. Are there 10 ingredients? No. And most of them have a lot of ingredients. You don't want gums and fillers. Silver sneakers. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great things through silver sneakers. Mary Teresa, I'd like you to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
This may be too personal and I don't want to, but since I was diagnosed and since I started doing like some of your live sessions and some of your YouTube, that's the yoga that I do every day, my back feels always tired. I don't know how else to put it except that I always want to go over and do a forward fold to relieve the feeling in my back. And I'm really conscious of posture. I'm wondering if it's from my muscles are relearning things. I'm so conscious of stacking and posture, and I do the yoga, and I'm just wondering if it's because my muscles are going to have to learn to get stronger to keep my spine where it's supposed to be. If that's why I feel like that all the time. I can't ride in the car for more than a couple hours without my back just tired. It's not pain. It's just like I just want to bend over and just like do all the wrong things to make those muscles feel better.
How long have you been practicing with me?
Maybe a month now.
Okay, so if it's a month, it's probably new. You're training your body. You're training your back to hold you up.
Okay.
So
okay.
I would approach that as your back, your hanger is strengthening to hold your spine upright. Now, in terms of wanting to do a forward fold, puppy dog is a great way to stretch your spine. Puppy dog is a great way. And you could forward fold at your hips, not in your spine. So anything where you're doing that, that'll be a good way.
And the warm up with the pelvic tilt, that helps. That's right where it is. It's right there. It's in that lower part. It feels really good when I lay on my back and I warm that up, and I pull in my I can't think of the word. My core, and I flatten my back and I get it neutral, and then I let it go and then I flatten it. That feels so good. So that's right where it is.
Yeah, and you know what? When I first started practicing yoga in my 30s, when I was young and fit, the thing that hurt me the most was my back and my wrists because I wasn't used to using them. So since this is only a month, I'm going to suggest that could be what's happening.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and then I see here that, let me see. Question about black tea and green tea. There's studies that show that green tea actually stimulates bone growth. So yes, green tea is good and it's antioxidant, helps with oxidation. Doesn't HRT have side effects? You know, I didn't go on HRT for a long time. I'm very naturally minded. And in my functional health coaching space, one of the physician's assistants said, we have a 1% chance of getting breast cancer without bioidentical hormones or HRT, and we have a 2% with. So you have to do what's right for you. I think that the benefits, and this is because I take HRT, the benefits outweigh the risks for me and the symptoms, but it's really an individual. And I don't prescribe medication, so I refer out when someone wants to do hormones. So I do a free yoga class on green tea. Could be caffeinated, by the way. It's caffeinated in the studies. So I offer a free yoga class every Thursday on YouTube. It's live. I teach right here. It's at 11 Pacific Standard Time. If you go to the link that's put into the chat, you'll be able to see that. Sign up, get the link. It'll be sent out to you. There's a newsletter that we send out to you every Thursday when I'm going live, so you can join. I have been teaching yoga for almost 20 years. I specialize in osteoporosis and bone health. Tomorrow we're working on fall prevention. So I specifically target the most important areas for healthy aging and for healthy bones. It is my niche. It is, I love doing this and have worked with women for years in this area. So join me, see if it's something that you like to do, if it's something that is good for your body. I am super descriptive. I don't see you, you see me, and you can chat with me. And I'd love to have you join me, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, we'll put in the chat the link to the Stronger Bones, to my podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. Listen to my podcasts. Listen to my podcasts on some of the questions that have been asked here, because you'll learn a lot of information there. And more importantly, okay, so I see that you're going to be in Finland. Well, I will say, though, that there's a Facebook group and that it is recorded, and you can send in questions. So I'm not sure when my next one is going to start. I do not have dates for the next session. I only have dates for this one. So you could join and get 2 of those lives. Get the recordings of the lives. Thanks for saying that about my podcast. I love interviewing the people I interview, and I have some great ones coming up. I'm interviewing a breast cancer surgeon next week, an MD to talk about oxalates, our favorite topic. I'm interviewing a nutritionist this Thursday to talk about oxalates. I'm interviewing a Pilates expert, professional dancer, to speak about Pilates for bone health. So I want to share as much information with you ladies as possible, because I want to empower you to take control of your bone health, to realize that you are in control. For those of you that are here that have gut issues and are on medications for gut, I also want to empower you to take care of your gut so you don't need medications. Our body, if given everything it needs, will thrive and will function optimally. If you've come to a place where you rely on a medication, let's get you away from relying on a medication and get you to a place where you learn what to eat, how to think, how to move, how to support your body, how to support your gut, and do all that you can for healthy aging and for healthy bones. Well, I would love to see you there, Lori. I hope to see you in there. And I would love to know, if not now, what is stopping you from signing up now? Because I know that you've asked me quite a bit of questions, and I would love to know if you're not able to sign up now, why? Because I'd like to know what are some of the barriers there for you. 4 months of information, especially information at this level. I run functional labs and have for years. So what I share with you in this program is extremely specialized information. not something you can get just anywhere. It's not a DIY program. You're not spending $1,000 to do a program yourself at home. I'm not going to teach you how to interpret your own labs and to ask your doctor to run a lab on you and interpret your own labs. I'm going to share actionable steps that you can do in a format that is manageable and give you the tools of what you need to start bringing in the changes that are going to support your bones. That is what Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones will do for you. Karen, so why do we drink wine? We drink wine because it helps us calm down. So then we need to look into stress management techniques. Wine is terrible for cancer. So if you've had cancer or are concerned about cancer, no alcohol for cancer. The liver sees alcohol as a toxin and it will metabolize it first before it will metabolize your hormones. So that's what wine does. I like to share the why do we do something, and then you make the decision. I drink every now and then. I do not drink like I used to because I know what it does to my liver, what it does to my hormones, and I want to have hormones for my bones, for many facets of my health, and for healthy aging. And there are not really a lot of studies that have been done. There have been studies, but it's on excessive drinking, so it's typically on alcoholism and what it does to bones. But what I would say is if you're tipsy, you're more likely to fall, and falls lead to fractures. So is it good for your bones? Well, it's not good for your liver. It could lead to falls. Yet, should you participate in some fun events with friends and stuff like that? Yeah, not about leading a boring life. So that can be there. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I'd like to wrap this up. I want to respect your time. I didn't want to go past an hour 30 today. So if there are any questions, yeah. Well, don't IP beers have gluten? So if beer has gluten, it's a no-no. And here's the other thing, it has yeast, right? A lot of women with osteoporosis have yeast issues. And yeast is going to affect your gut health, affect your many things systemically. So it's like a can of worms. And I'm going to help you open the can of worms and share with you all of the things. Osteoporosis is multifactorial. It is a metabolic disease with many things that affect it, which is why the more you learn, the more you know, the more you can shift, the more control you have over your bones. And in the Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program, you will learn so many of those things. So their link is there if you'd like to join. So no to beer if it's got yeast and gluten, because that's not good for bones. Kombucha is a yeast ferment, and it can help to crowd out and take up space for certain species. So I'd love to have you join me in my next session, the next session for Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones. The first week on March 12th is when we start to send out emails that start to get you prepared. That's the prep week. March 19th is my first live. We meet almost every other week. The dates are in the chat for the next session that's coming up. And we meet almost every other week and live, access to me, questions, a bone health expert on many different facets, yoga therapist, I cook, and I'm a functional health coach. So there's many different aspects of bone health that I cover. All of them is really what I feel. And if not, bring something up and let me learn about that and help you with that. So I'd love to have you join me in my next Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program. If you think you want to run labs and go deeper and do a bigger aspect of this program, then I have discovery calls where you could set up a session with me to see if maybe running functional labs is going to be for you. Of course, that's a more costly and more time on your part. And that is the way that I love to work with women that have a lot of issues and really want to go deeper. So if you know that you want to look into your body and discover what's going on with your body, then let's have a discovery call. And right now, my team member will put in the chat a link to a discovery call where you could fill out a form. I get to learn a little bit about you, and we'll have a discovery call to talk about whether or not you want to do the program where we run functional labs, run a stool lab, a hair mineral lab, and look at your gut health specifically. And then you work with me privately. and I customize a program for you and really get you on the road to, should I say the word recovery? How about the road to balance, internal balance, where bone building accelerates bone dissolving? That's the journey. That's the course. That's the plan I'll put you on. So there's the link to my discovery call. One more time, we'll put the link in there for my Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones. I would love to see as many of you join as possible, to be in community together, to learn together, to whoever is in there asks questions that help to give the answers that a lot of us need and want to know. So you have a discovery call link if you would like to work with me privately and have me run functional labs on you to help you go deeper. And if you want to join the program for $497 without labs and work in the group for the next 4 months, I'd love to have you join us. So I want to thank you so much for giving me your attention and your time today. I hope to see as many of you as possible in my next Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones group. And I look forward to meeting you in person or in virtually. And look on my website for the other offerings that I have. Listen to Stronger Bones Lifestyle Podcast. Educate yourself. Education is queen. The more you know, the better informed you are, the better decisions you can make about your bones and your body. You're welcome, Mary. Thank you for being in my world, in my community. I am so grateful for you being there. So we will be sharing the recording and more information. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of the day if it's the early morning for you, a lovely evening if it's the evening for you. Wherever you are in the world, I hope that you have a nice day.